y'all. We're gonna build this column for this Lincoln. I'm gonna walk you through what we use. Start with a slide out of a factory like square body column, works the easiest. So we're gonna cut this U-joint off the double D shaft. Then we're gonna cut it off right here before it swells up. All right, so we got the U-joint where it ties into the column cut off. We got the rag joint cut off. As you can see, it's hollow tube. And there's our slide. Now we're going to separate these and get that double D shaft cleaned up and make sure it has good slide. All right, so we got them separated. There's like a spring-loaded tab in here that'll come out when you get it all slid apart. Now what you do is you see where this neck's down? Cut that right there at that edge. We're gonna cut that little tab off. All right, so we cut that off there. Right there at the taper. Now we're gonna take a grinder, clean that up a little bit. That cleaned up like that. Yep. All right, so all we've done is we've just taken and cleaned up any kind of surface rust or any of that stuff that away. Once we clean the end of this out a little bit, we'll have good slide. Now an easy way to do this, take you a small file and just clean up that edge down in there. So that way. Just like that. That, and we'll grease that a little bit too. First part's done. So you need a short piece of your bar stock that you're gonna make your steering column out of. All right, so we took the U-joint, it's got the splines. It is welded to the double D shaft. We've left about a 8 to 3/16 of a gap down here. That way we got plenty of movement. It doesn't bind up with the double D going too far down through there. We've cleaned it all up. We've got the slip part of it, the sleeve. It's welded. So what I did was I took a short piece that we cut off of our steering shaft, put it in here on this end. It's in there about an 1/8 inch. You can kind of see it. Welded it, then we slid the tube over, and then when I welded the tube to the little stub piece, we welded it all together and tied it all in with the U-joint. So now this end will be up through to your steering wheel. And then we've got our slide here. Column, bottom half is built. Okay, so we've got it all together. What I've done is I've come down 2.5 inches. And that is where I want to start in the car. It gives me 5.5 inches of slide. So when you're putting this in a car, if you're by yourself and you're putting this column in for the first time, mark it 2.5, put your pair of vice grips right here. That way this can't slide. So when you're building the back half of your column up to your steering wheel, you're not getting it done. Next thing you know, you've built it and you've only left yourself this kind of slide and you got to redo what you've started. So start right there. It gives us 5.5 inches of slide, which on a Ford is going to move a lot. Now, 03 and newer, you're going to want more slide. But for a 90s Lincoln, 98 to 02, square body, this will work just fine. All right, so we got our column. What we're going to slide up in the car with our heim joints and our steering stops. Again, we're going to put this to where we're just got about in between 16 and 8. We want to make sure we have plenty of room around our U-joints. Now we're going to weld that. All right, so we're all welded. Sure, U-joint. Okay, so your 3/4 inch heims. They make steering shaft heims. They are a few thou bigger than a standard. That way you have, fits better. So make sure you buy the steering shaft heims. They work a little better. Plus you can buy a kit and they come with both nuts. So we've got column, bottom half of our column. We will grease that up once we're finally done. We got our U-joints. We're ready to start fitting it to a piece of C-channel to mount our heim joints to. And that's going to weld off the dash bar.
You're going to have to send me a link for what steering wheel so I can buy it.
Use that one for now. I'm not covering it. All right, we got our vice grip set on our line. So we got our 5.5 inches of slide. We've got our C channels drilled. We got our heim spaced in it. We just slid our disconnect and our steering wheel over the shaft here. That way we can get a length roughly set. We just threw a C clamp here right now on this dash bar to hold it. We're actually going to notch the bottom of the C channel just a little bit. That way we can raise the back of the C channel up, so that way we can get a little better angle of our approach to our gearbox. And then once we get that done, we're going to weld it into the bottom. We'll set our length, and then we'll cut our steering shaft off and weld the hex on. And I'll put a nice little healthy one on there. That way then we can flex it. Are you straight with your angles? Or is it,
I don't know.
like front and back?
I don't feel like it.
That way? Alright, now slide me back down. The angle. There you go. Okay. Now, remember it's just a tack.
Yep. Yeah, that's good there. We need to come.
Do you want your angle up?
I think that about right with the shaft anyway.
Okay, how's your height wise?
Fine height wise.
Like steering wheel too high, too low?
Steering wheel off, I think it's gonna be beautiful. To get in and out is what I'm more looking at.
Okay, now it should stay.
You got some leaves by your feet? They're smoking, sir.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know that I hate that right there.
Like depth and all?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, you're
Is that-
slowly working it back down.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Well, pulling out of there now. All right, now you stopped me from being stupid.
Nope.
Like I said, I've never ran one of these.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, to me, I can do one of these
Your
little numbers.
feet where you want to be in the car?
Well, not big because that's more of a seat issue. Yeah.
Shifter reach okay? Holding on to the steering wheel at the same time?
That's a little close. I don't want to eat that.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think you're good.
That'll work. So what I'll do is I'll put these are called split stop steering stops, like a bar stop.
Yep.
They are split. They fit the 3/4 inch. I'll put one behind each heim joint to where it can't come this way. And then I will put enough from this heim to the steering hex So you might have to put 3 or 4 of them right here, but it just makes it that much thicker.
Right.
And it keeps
that
you
little
from bending
nub
that
spot,
little stem. Yep.
just from hitting and naturally
Correct.
bracing yourself.
Yep. So that's why when I buy these, I buy them by the bag of 10. I think my column's got like 4 or 5 of them.
So basically, you put your 2 on there to keep it from sliding out and punching you in the face.
Yep.
And then you just stack them right from there to there to just stiffen up that a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
That makes sense. Put some grease on it just to help the sliding action.
Yes. Some you can use anti-seize. I just use regular grease because if I use anti-seize, I end up with more on me than that.
Yeah, it's pretty much the story of anti-seize.
Correct. We've got stops behind both heims, and then we've got stops from the front of this heim all the way to our hex. And like I said, I do that because I want that thick right there, because I've been known to bend it in between right there on that little stub hanging out. So that right there is going to keep that thing from bending. Now we just need to cut that off, grease it, tighten up the set screw down on the gearbox, and your column's in. So as you can see, we've got our spline to double D U-joint down here at the bottom. Got the Allen set screw set where the groove is on the shaft coming out of the gearbox. That's where it locks down with that nylock. We've got the double D shaft is all greased up. You've got your 3/4 smooth to 3/4 smooth U-joint here in the center. And we've got the rest of that 3/4 smooth all the way through the firewall. Now, we used our heim joints. You can tell this one's adjusted a little different than the top one. We did that to help with our angle coming up through the firewall up to your steering column.